When Bob Kane and Bill Finger created Batman in 1939, it was following the popularity and success of Superman. So the demand for more superheroes led to the creation of many of the iconic heroes that we see today. And when it came to Batman, they used inspirations like Zorro to really inform who the character would be. He wasn't going to be some alien from another planet, he wasn't going to be some mystical person from another land or time. He was human, just like we are. But he was able to do extraordinary things. He pushed what human limits can really do. And he was able to do something extraordinary. In that same vein, when Stan Lee created Spider-Man, he wanted to do something unique. He wanted to bring about a hero that was different from all the others. While spider powers is more of a mainstream thing, it was pretty high commodity back then. It wasn't so common. And to think that Spider-Man was calling himself Spider-Man despite being a teenager was something that even I could relate to. Because at that age, I definitely thought I was a man. But in those cases, or in that sense, I look at those inspirations, I look at the uniqueness of these characters. And it makes me just want to create my own superhero universe. It's been on my mind for so many years. And every time I look at the likes of Batman or Spider-Man or even any of the anime characters I would watch in Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho, all this stuff, all these inspirations only made me want to have these fantasies of what if I was in that universe? What would I do? What would my powers be? And as much as I've been thinking about it, it also led to ideas of why don't I just write this stuff? Why don't I just make my own universe? Especially when I hear so many stories about the creators behind some of the most popular comics, movies, and shows that I've watched as a kid. At the end of the day, I wanted to not only create my own universe, but to draw from everything around me, which means that naturally I was going to bring some people along for the ride. My first goal was to go from making a solo superhero to making a superhero team. As much as I would love to be on my own adventures, I always enjoyed the fact that I was always around with my friends. So, of course, in this alternate universe where I was the superhero, I wasn't going to be alone. This character wasn't going to be alone. I could have wrote him that way, but I didn't want that. I wanted a team. And the one thing I had not seen is a team of male African Americans. They're all black, they're all male, and they're in this one group. I have yet to see anything like that, and if it is out there, it must not be mainstream because I've never seen it. So I look at that and think, well, why not start that? Even if there is a situation where something like that already exists, the idea of me bringing my own world to life was always going to be in my head. And that was something that, even when I was in college, I was writing up drafts left and right of what would be the perfect story for this group. And at the end of the day, it was really about what I wanted to do. I always go back to this idea. I found so many other ways to do it through game design, through trying to draw, and at the time my drawing wasn't all that good, but the idea was still buzzing around in my head. So to me, it was no other choice. I had to make this thing a reality, to at least try as best I can. That's what really made me go to work on this and to improve my art as a whole. As much as I was reaching out to other people, they would come and go, which only led me to the idea or to the thought process that I had to do this stuff on my own. I have to figure this out for myself. So again, I took responsibility and I really went to improving all of my skills, not just in writing, but also in drawing. At the end of the day, I want someone to look at what I create and be happy and be pleased. When I show my artwork to some of my friends and see how they're so happy with how much my art is evolving, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel proud of myself because they know as well as I do that they're a part of this journey. They inspired the characters that you see me draw right now. So when I show it back to them, I love the feeling that they get from it, and it just inspires me to keep going. A lot of the stuff that I'm even showing them, I'm taking into account what they said, what they wanted, the answers that they gave me when I asked the question: if you were a superhero, what kind of superhero would you want to be? What outfit would you want to wear? What kind of powers would you want to have? I take it into account and I put my own spin on it. But at the end of the day, it's them. They inspired the character. So whatever story I write concerning them, I take that inspiration into account. This, to me, is the most fun part about creating in general. When creating your own world and creating your own universe, there's no limit to what all you can do, because at the end of the day, it's your story. It's up to you to make it make sense. It's up to you to make it entertaining and fun. And it's up to you to make something so gripping that not only would you want to keep watching or keep seeing it or keep reading it, but others would too. I want to bring about that interest. What would a group of 5 superpowered African American males, who all would be interested in seeing that? I'm honestly curious about that because I know I want to see it. And with a lot of these guys, even the way I draw them, they come in different shapes and sizes. Like, of course, I'm putting myself as the leader of the group, but I'm not that tall. I didn't make him larger than life. Made him a little stocky, a little muscular, but he's still short. Meaning people are always gonna look over him, but I'm not gonna have it to where he's gonna be mocked for it. I want him to have that sense of, you can look down on me, but don't think I won't drop you down to my size. And that tenacity I want echoed throughout the character. But he's surrounded by guys taller than him, bigger than him, more physically fit than him, faster than him. They range. It's a wide range. But the one thing I want them all to have in common is that they're not from the projects. They're not from an established kingdom. They're not royalty. They're middle class, just like I am. And to me, I feel like that area has not been explored enough. And if it has, again, there's not enough light on it. And to any artist who is trying to make that kind of stuff happen, keep going. Because I know I am. The characters that I'm creating have so much potential. Much like this character I'm drawing right now. This is one of the most powerful members of the group. And he has so much potential, but he doesn't even see it. And if he does see it, he's afraid of it. And that's something that not only can I relate to, but considering the friend who inspired this character, it's my way of telling him, with all the ideas he has, with all the creativity that he has, he wants to do a lot with his talents as well, but I don't want him to be afraid. I don't want him to be discouraged either. So as I'm taking a chance on myself, I will want him to take a chance on himself as well. And to anyone else, this goes to anyone who sees this stuff, who sees what I'm doing right now. I want anyone who has a dream of creating their own world, creating their own universe, to look at what I'm doing right now, look at the steps I'm taking, and go, just like how I'm doing this, you guys need to start taking some steps towards making your dreams a reality as well. It's possible. We've heard too many stories about how all these famous comic book writers started out small and became big names. Anyone can make it. All we gotta do is put in the effort and try. And I'll leave y'all with this. This is only part 1 of the journey. As we continue and as I continue to show you my progress, I want to share the story a little bit by bit, of what I'm considering when creating this universe and what these five men are going to do, what this team is going to do, what they'll face, what they'll encounter, and how they'll overcome it. Because that's the mark of a good story. It's not enough to see how cool the characters are, but to see their struggles and their triumphs. The great thing about one of my friends is that not only do they support me, but they're willing to help me along the way. They're willing to write the story with me. And I can't thank him enough for that. Again, he is the one with all the potential, all the creativity, so there's a reason I keep going to him. And I hope he sees this and knows that I'm thankful for his input, for his help, and for his creativity, because I never thought that one of my members would look as close as possible to a Power Ranger. But hey, it's what he wanted. Who am I to question it? So what I'm doing with him is kind of help flesh out the story a little bit more. I think right now we're on we got the first act and the second act ready.
Yes.
Yeah. So
what's left is, I think, the final act.
Right.
Like how does it all? How we wrap up all the loose ends? How does everyone have their final character arcs, and how does the story all come to a close?
Yeah. And I think what I'm gonna do, I mean, we're still throwing around ideas right now, so we're just trying to figure out how to end it. But so far it's a pretty good draft for the story, and at least we know where it's going, so that way when I draw it, it makes a little more sense. It looks a little bit better. But the end goal, especially with the characters that I've already shown, is that each one they're different, but I want their brothers, so I want their bond to really stand out. But as I was showing with your character, I kind of want him to be a bit of a dud at first.
A dud?
Well, in a sense of there's no power. You really don't see him doing anything. You don't think, okay, he just survived the experiments. It doesn't look like anything really happened.
Oh, so I'm like I'm like the weakest of the bunch.
More like you're gonna be perceived as the weakest until you start showing that power in those hair-raising situations. Kind of like your character will most likely be the definition of you're discovering your power as you're going through the story. Everyone else, my character and Tristan's character is gonna be more, okay, we're figuring it out already. We kind of know what we can do, so we're working on it already. And that's what most of those guys are. You're the only person that everyone else will go, okay, what's going on with him though? Something has to have happened for him to survive that long. Because again, we're trying to figure out the whole success rate for Project Genesis, which it's a low rate. So by proxy, if you survived, something must be working. So that's all I'm really trying to do. But I know we're fleshing everything out now. I mean, with your help, I was able to get the settings. I was able to figure out most of the plot. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take a little break, and then we're gonna come back and see what we can think of. I know with you, a lot of the watching superhero shows kind of helps out with that.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. And don't you usually write anyway?
I dabble every now and then. But yeah, majority, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say, come on, man. It's like it's either you write or you don't.
I don't really well, I'm not really like beyond Hollywood type writing like that yet.
Hey, everyone starts somewhere.
Right, touche.
Got a lot of creative ideas. I mean, he fleshed out everything, so definitely it was good to bounce off ideas with him, so it made it a lot easier.
Yeah, they've been doing this for about a couple of years.
See, experience. Someone come find this man. Give him a job. I mean, give him the experience.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll happen in the future. I don't know.
You never know what could happen.
True.
Yeah.